The Kindle Scribe has been announced, but to me there's a few obvious problems that I don't think anyone's really talking about. So the Scribe will be released very soon, but there's actually on paper not a huge difference between the new Kindle Scribe and existing Kindles like the Paperwhite or the Oasis. The Scribe has a larger 10.2 inch display with some extra LEDs to make up for the extra size, but apart from that it's still got 300 ppi resolution, 16, 32 or 64 gigabyte storage options, a warm backlight, USB-C charging. Of course, the main difference from the other Kindles with the Scribe is the fact that it comes with a pen, which doesn't need charging, which is pretty cool. And this enables you to take handwritten notes directly on the Kindle. Now, of course, this isn't the first e-ink tablet to have this feature. Companies like MeBook or Kobo and Remarkable all have tablets out that enable you to take handwritten notes directly on an e-ink display. But this is the first ever Kindle to have this type of feature, which is kind of cool. But to me, it seems kind of unnecessary. It feels a little bit like Amazon is just trying to add features to stay kind of competitive, which I can kind of understand. But to me, the best thing about a Kindle is that it's distraction free and you can just concentrate on reading your book. It's got no extra bells and whistles or anything like that. And so to me, there's kind of a few really obvious problems with the new Kindle Scribe. And the first is you can't actually write directly on your Kindle books. The way it works is kind of the same way you currently can take a text note on Kindle. You highlight the passage and then it pops up and gives you a text box that you can fill out. In the same way on the Kindle Scribe, you'll get a pop-up box in your Kindle book that enables you to take a handwritten note within that text box. You can't just write directly on the page of the Kindle book, if that makes sense. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but that leads me to my second obvious problem, which is the lack of sync capabilities. Now Amazon has said that they will in the future provide features to Kindle that enable you to sync your Kindle notes to something like a desktop, but for now that doesn't exist. And then when it does exist in the future, I'm kind of a little bit doubtful as to how useful it's going to be, because once you've synced your handwritten note, which is essentially just going to be a handwritten image to your desktop, then what do you really do with it? There's nothing really that you can do with it. It's not super useful. Whereas on an iPad, for example, if you take notes in something like GoodNotes, all your handwritten notes are actually text searchable, which is really useful if you want to go back and look over past notes and you can't exactly remember where they're stored, where you took them, as well as that you can convert your handwritten notes to text in something like GoodNotes. Whereas currently there's no word that Kindle will have this kind of ability, which again to me kind of makes the handwritten notes kind of useless. Like there's nothing that you can really do with them once you've taken the note. To me, kind of the point of taking notes is so that you can go back and look at them later. If you're researching a topic on the same sort of thing, or if you just want to re-look over information you've learned, it needs to be searchable, it needs to be accessible. And currently as it stands, it seems like Kindle doesn't really have a lot of features that enable that. Now the last thing is that on the Kindle Scribe, you can mark up PDFs directly on the page, so it doesn't have the text pop-up box like in a Kindle book. But again, I just can't really see why you would use the Kindle to mark up PDFs rather than an iPad. With an iPad, you can easily download and share PDFs, whereas on a Kindle, it's really hard and clunky to get a PDF onto your Kindle. You either have to sideload it via USB, which is kind of like from the 1990s, or you have to email yourself the PDF, which again is kind of clunky. And without good sync features, your marked up PDF is again going to be difficult to get off your Kindle onto a desktop or other device. And sure, an iPad is more expensive than a Kindle Scribe, but for the amount of time you're going to save, if you're marking up PDFs regularly, then you're going to save so much time and headache just doing it on an iPad that's so much more responsive and designed to share those types of files. So yeah, that's kind of my initial impressions before the Kindle Scribe gets released. Maybe Amazon will release features with it that will make all these sort of complaints defunct. But for now, that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Are you keen on the Kindle Scribe? Do you like the handwritten note feature? And let me know if you'd be interested in seeing a Kindle Scribe full review. But other than that, I hope you have an amazing day and I'll see you very soon in the next video.